communities or support your interest in reconciliation, we're asking you for funds that will directly contribute to the tax base for the region, as well as to spends in the area.
For a motion to receive his information.
Thank you.
It is old information, so. Any other questions? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. 5.3, Matthew, are you here? To talk about firecrackers? I don't think so. Which means we'll go on to 6 on the agenda is the adoption of the minutes from the previous meetings. Councillor Howes, you have that. We're going to put all 3 of the meetings together.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Bell that the County of Brant Special Council minutes of October 28th, the County of Brant Council minutes of October 28th, and the County of Brant Special Council minutes of November 11th, 2025 be approved.
Are there any questions to any of those 3 sets of minutes? Councillor Bell.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to comment on 11.1 of the last council meeting, which refers to the Paris Drinks Fest. Maybe I missed something. The resolution that Councillor Oakley brought forward reads that the County of Brant grant Paris Drinks Fest a letter to designate the event as municipally significant as requested for their 2026 event. That's not what the minutes of the meeting say. And I think it's relevant, and if perhaps the clerk might comment on it, but then I've got a comment to make on that as well.
Do you want to pull that up there? I remember that as being a confusing vote.
I don't recall there being an amendment to what Councillor Oakley brought forward.
Yes. Just give the clerk a minute. The question is, Councillor Bell doesn't remember the amendment to the motion.
There was no amendment, and I voted positively for the motion as was written, which explicitly excludes a venue.
That's right.
I believe I support the fact that it is a municipally significant event. I look at the definition from around the municipality and around our province. It's a pretty common definition, and it explicitly excludes location. And so I voted on the basis that the following motion, which was 11.2, expressed our discontent and unwillingness to see SILAPs being used for the period 26 to 28. So in my world, and I may be wrong, I voted to say, yes, this is municipally significant, put it in the right place, but not in SILAPs. And 11.2 said, we don't want it in SILAPs. So I am confused still, and I would appreciate clarification.
I think Alison's going to try to, that's exactly the way I remember it too, because I know that we were sending them to the fairgrounds after they left here to see what could be done at the fairgrounds. So, Alison?
Through your worship to council, so there was direction to staff to investigate the fairgrounds, but my understanding, and General Manager Crozier can perhaps elaborate further, is that the municipally significant event is tied to an actual location. So in approving the event as municipally significant, it is tied to a specific location for 2026. But
So if I may, Mr. Mayor, that cannot be true, because in 2024, the event moved, having got its municipally significant event status from Lions Park to Silabs. So I don't accept that it is that tied. I understand that there's a process you need to follow to get your special permit to allow you to sell alcohol. But I wrote to Tim when he wrote and said, thank you for supporting it. I said, I only supported that it's a municipally significant event. I did not support that it should be in Silabs. In fact, I still would argue that it's the wrong place to put it. And I believe what we have agreed to conforms to that. Yes, it's a significant event. No, we don't want it in Silabs. So in my world, tell me if I'm wrong, but in my world, I think this council said we don't want it at Silabs, and yet we do accept it as a municipally significant event. I think, Councillor Chambers, I think you shared the same view, if I recall, the last few minutes or the last couple of comments before we voted on this matter at the last council meeting.
Okay, we're gonna go to Adam first, and then we're gonna come to Councillor Chambers to see whether that's how he remembers it.
Thank you. Through your worship. So in processing the request, the key enacting thing, and I believe this was explained in a Friday file shortly after, the key enacting part of the resolution was as requested. And going back through the letter, as outlined by Councillor Oakley's resolution, the request was for Silabs. So that was the determination we made, not so much on the special occasions permit request, but as requested. And so clearly I believe there was a confusion or a disconnect between what certain members of council thought they were voting on and what the resolution actually, as proposed by Councillor Oakley, actually suggested. So in that case, staff have continued to process as per the approved council resolution, dictating that the municipal significance be approved so that the special occasion permit can be issued, and getting into the semantics of the portability of a municipal significance resolution for the purposes of a special occasions permit is probably that's not the key thing that led to the issuance of the municipal significance resolution indicating Silabs as the venue for Drinks Fest.
Thank you. Councillor Chambers, do you have any recollection of how?
My recollection is right down the middle of that, on both ends to the middle. It was my recollection, and I'd have to kind of look back at Adam's report in the Friday file just to refresh my memory, but the timeline I had in mind was they asked for the designation of the municipally significant event in order to submit it with their application for the special occasions permit. And we agreed with that. When they submit the special occasions permit, I had in my mind that they would be placing a location for the event. And the location for the event would, basically that's a staff function that we don't approve the rental of county facilities, so that was out of our jurisdiction. So in my mind, it was just approval of the letter for the designation of the municipal significant event outside of any location, which would be basically a request and processed by the staff, however they do those kind of things.
Mm-hmm. I remember it exactly how Councillor Bell said we were doing Tim a favor by letting him get on with the process so he wouldn't be late in getting his permit. And I do think that I remember us saying, go talk to them at the fairgrounds and see what you can come up with, and kind of good luck to you there. But that's what I remember. I don't remember saying that it was going to be at Silabs, but Councillor Oakley, you did make an amendment and we voted on it?
Through you, sorry. No, there was no amendment made. The language in my resolution, the language in my resolution does speak to as requested, which in the letter did request the event. I also wanted to highlight as well that in regards to this council voting down the other resolution speaking, or the other portion of the resolution speaking to future presumptive support does not, voting that down does not approve the negative. So we're not saying that it cannot happen in those locations either, to be clear.
I think we have a problem. We have a problem because I don't remember thinking that we voted on Sillops as the location for the event, only that the event was significant to us in the county. So I'm not sure. Councillor Housen and Councillor Oakley.
Thank you, and this, it was a complicated discussion late in the meeting. And however, if my memory serves, when Tim was at the podium as a delegation towards the beginning of the meeting, one of my questions to him was, for you to be deemed a municipally significant event, does it have to tie to a location? And I believe his answer was yes. So I don't know how that contributes to this debate, but.
Councillor Oakley.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to staff, I'm just curious as to, I mean, there's, I think, philosophical discussion here on how we perhaps ended up in a place different than what we expected, but in terms of the practical significance of what's occurred, in order to make a new decision on the resolution, we'd have to reconsider. And my understanding is we've already sent out a letter which then blocks there from being a reconsideration. So effectively, it's done for this year. In terms of we've acted on a resolution, that means it cannot be reconsidered.
Okay, if that's, the clerk wants to sort of, is that the way it goes? Are we locked in this? I know that 3 years was dismissed, right? Everybody understands that 3 years came forward and we said no. But you're saying that we are committed to this year in the way the resolution was written up. Is that right?
Through the mayor, if the interpretation is that the resolution as written is that we are giving the municipal significance tied to the location, since we are giving it based on the letter as requested, that's happened. We've sent it out saying that they have their letter of municipal significance. This motion can't be reconsidered.
Councillor Bell?
I see it differently. I interpret 11.2 as overriding whatever Councillor Oakley thought 11.1 gave in the form that it was written. And it does not explicitly say that we will have it at Sillops. I would like to see staff step back and have a conversation with Noisemaker and examine alternative locations. Because we explicitly said in 11.2, in denying 11.2, that we do not want this event in Sillops from 2026 to 2028.
Councillor Oakley?
Through Mr. Mayor, to be clear, what was explicitly said is that we're not giving our presumptive approval. Voting that down does not mean that we are denying them being at a certain location. There is an important distinction there. Councillor Bell, I believe, is trying to interpret the resolution in a way that overwrites the first clause, but it simply does not.
Councillor Pierce?
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. If you read it, it says that the Council of the County of Brant in principle support Para-Strings Fest to host the event at Two River Stadium, 4 Elm Street, Sillops, provided the event organizers fulfill the process requirements of the County of Brant for an event. That was defeated. So again, the one that was approved further down, it actually does say that the County of Brant grant Para-Strings Fest a letter of designation as a municipal significant event at Two River Stadium as requested for their 2026 event.
With that,
Councillor Bell?
just following up what Councillor Pierce, I forget his name. What's your name, John?
George.
George. What Councillor Pierce read out was what's in the minutes. That's not what was on the floor and what we voted on. We voted on something different. It did not have the words about SILAPs in there.
The clerk's going to speak to that.
Through your worship to the counselor, my recollection was that when we got to this portion, there was quite a bit of debate, and then we separated the three clauses in Counselor Oakley's wording. The number 2 and number 3 were defeated, and so council voted on number 1, the first clause, and that passed. And the wording in that included what's in the minutes right now. I don't think we came up with new wording to exclude the location, and like Counselor House mentioned, we did talk about tying a location to the event to be able to get the letter.
I'm losing track now. I went back, I listened to the meeting, I looked at the motion that Councillor Oakley put forward. 11.1 specifically does not mention a location. The minutes specifically do mention a location. So I'm saying the minutes are incorrect, and I'm making the point that many of us, when we voted on the basis that it was not going to be at SILAPs, but that we were simply voting to make this a municipally significant event. And the precedent has already been set 2 years ago when the event moved without any real problems and in very short order from Lions Park to SILAPs. So that this connection between the municipally significant event status and location is tenuous at best.
Okay, we're going to hear from the CEO because I'm completely baffled. I don't know how to get out of this because I remember it exactly the way you do, but I also believe that Councillor Oakley is sticking to his guns on the wording, and he thinks he's right. So we're going to have to go to some other method of deciding, because if the minutes are wrong, then we shouldn't be okaying them tonight. We should go back, and it's Councillor Bell said he watched the meeting again, and this isn't what was said at the meeting, so we have a problem. Allison.
Thank you. Through your worship to Councillor Bell, I believe, and clerks can correct me if I'm wrong, is the enabling words are as requested, which is what enables the location tied to the municipally significant event.
Councillor Bell.
I have a view that the most significant words there were that we approve it to be a municipally significant event. That's where I go. I think, Mr. Mayor, you think the same. I think Councillor Chambers felt the same. And certainly, the absence of the presence of the address in the minutes clearly indicates there was confusion. Yeah. And I think the vote is at best dubious.
Councillor Chambers.
Okay, I'm reading Adam's report, and I have the letter. This is a letter from the organization. To whom it may concern, on behalf of Paris Drink Fest, I would like to request a letter from the county of Brant to once again designate our event as a municipally significant event in order to obtain a special occasions permit. That was the request. That's what they put in their letter. They go on a little bit and then it gets into the location, but that was the request. So when I voted, was separated. The first vote was, as what appears in the minutes, that the County of Brant grant Paris Drink Fest a letter to designate the event as municipally significant. That's what Adam's report says. Now, let me just get this. Number 1, therefore be resolved that the County of Brant grant Paris Drink Fest a letter to designate the event as municipally significant as requested for their 2026 event. So if you read it without getting into interpretations, they made the request that we designate. We passed a resolution to designate, period. The location is up to the organization to determine with staff according to the usual process that they would normally carry out. they don't come to council to ask if, the Boy Scouts don't ask the council to rent the Wilkins Community Center. That's all done at staff level. So this event, the group would come to staff requesting that they be able to rent the SILAPs. They either say yes or no, or they don't know, and they bring that request to council. So to assume that by passing the resolution that we designated the event that we either approved or didn't approve, didn't do either one. We just granted the request for the municipally significant designation. That's how I interpret it. So the minutes, I think, are incorrect in that the minutes do not show that it was separated, first of all, and it shows that the one that we did vote on is incorrect if you go by Adam's report.
Sunayana?
Through your worship, I can definitely see that as a area of confusion. If you look at 5.3 of the same set of minutes, that's where Tim delegated before council, and he made the request for the location to be at SILAPs. So I think in talking about it through the report and as a delegation, the location did come up, and so I think that's when the confusion occurred later on.
Councillor Bell?
Clark is absolutely right, except for the fact that when we got to vote on 11.2, we said we do not support that the event is there for the next 3 years. I don't know about the in principle, but we voted, we don't want it. And therefore, the two things go together. We do think it's municipally significant, but we don't want it at SILAPs. And therefore, like Councillor Chambers says, over to staff and let staff find the right location for this municipally significant event, albeit that it should not be at SILAPs.
Councillor Howes?
Thanks. Through you, Mr. Mayor, just to weigh in a little bit, and I'm not sure, like you, I'm not sure where we get out of this, but, or get to the bottom of this is better words. But I believe that when council voted against the portion of Councillor Oakley's resolution that was specific to 3 years, that was council voting against making a 3-year commitment. I don't think that that logically implies that it's against SILAPs as a 1-year location. It's easy for me to say this because I was the one who voted negative anyway, right? But I don't believe that saying we don't want this at that location for 3 years underlined the fact that it's off the table for next year too. That's my interpretation.
It's quite a problem, actually, because the deeper you dig on this, the more confusing it is, because, I mean, if we said not 3 years, I mean, who's to say that we didn't mean 2 years or 1 year? Who's to say we didn't mean all of that? So, Councillor McAlpine?
So I'm kind of along the same lines as Steve, where I was under the impression that we were allowing them for the next year, but we were looking at this new park being developed possibly so that they could move to that when that was ready, and I think that's how we landed. So we were allowing them for the next year, but after that, it was a year-by-year basis.
Yeah, I remember that discussion too. This is what's getting scary about the whole thing, is I do remember all of it. Councillor Miller?
I'll just say I agree with what Councillor McAlpine and Councillor Howe said. And the reason I remember it that way is because I talked to Councillor Howe in the parking lot about the location. And the way we talked, it was, okay, we're going for this year, but thereafter, we don't know where it's going.
So, Councillor Oakley?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I would concur with my colleagues here in regards to, my intent with the motion was to get them presumptive support so that they'd have more security in knowing where it would be. Knowing that failed, my understanding would be that they would have to come each year and try their take a crack at it, but have no guarantee of success. And so that, my understanding would be similar to Councilor Miller, Councilman McAlpine, and Councilor House. Thank you.
Okay, so the way the minutes read now is that we did okay the process to get their qualifications in and all of that. We didn't stand in their way. And the way the minutes read, we okayed SILAPs for 1 year. Is that right? Is that right? Yeah, everybody's bobbing yes, but Councillor Bell. And you're not going to give up the bone, are you?
No, I'm not.
No.
I think if you go back to the earlier conversation when Tim was at the podium, we raised concerns about the appropriateness of SILAPs. It wasn't a surprise. And 11.2, in my view, I'm just one of 10, I feel that it was a very clear statement that we override the use of SILAPs over 26 to 28.
Councillor Chambers,
Maybe to put this to bed and so we can move on.
I wish you would.
Would a resolution along the lines of, in order to clarify the intent of 11 point, whatever it is in the minutes, 11.1 in the minutes, the intent is that the organization receives a letter designating them as the event as municipally significant at the SILAPS Community Center for 2026. That's not what Councillor Bell thinks it says, but that, I think, is what everybody else thinks it says. So I'll make that a motion in order to clarify the intent. And if council believes that was the intent, they will vote for that. If they believe it wasn't the intent, they vote against that, and Councillor Bell can do what he has to do, I guess. But that's why we think we can move forward. So I'll make that a motion.
All right, seeking a seconder. Councillor Kyle? You have a seconder in Councillor Kyle. Anyone want to speak to it before we call the vote? All those in favor? Opposed? And it passes. And it's gone to bed. Thank you. For this year. I think we need, did anyone bring donuts? That was a lot. Okay. That's the first time that's happened that I can remember that we didn't know what to, or I didn't know what to do from there, so. Anyway, is there any other business that's from the minutes? I hope not. I think that should be the business from all three of the sets of minutes. Okay. Moving on to consent items, and none to be approved. 8.2, consent items to be received. There's a few of them. I think there's 12 of them, 9, 10, 13 of them. Does anyone want to speak to any of them? Okay, Councillor McAlpine, you're first. Yeah, okay. That was business arising. So we have 12 of them in front of, 13 of them in front of us. And Councillor Miller, you want to separate something? Do you want to speak to something or separate something?
No, yeah, just speak. I got just a question on 824,
Okay.
and that's the Public Library Board.
Okay, anyone else? Councillor Pierce?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I also have a question on 8.2.4 as well as 8.2.10.
Okay, just a question. You don't want to separate them, vote on them separately?
8.2.10 I would like pulled, but 8.2.4 I just have a question.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, let's do 8.2.4 first, Councillor Miller, and then Councillor Pierce.
Yeah, reading the minutes, there was discussion about location of a possible new Paris library, and I was a little surprised. I thought that might be an in-camera item, but it's not. So I'll ask the question, is the board close to deciding on a location?
Who wants to answer that? Councillor House?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll take a shot. We have a library board meeting tomorrow night where this continues to be an agenda item with robust discussion, and I would hope that after tomorrow night, certainly we will know more, but I'm hoping then the next step would be to ask Kelly and Fred to come make a presentation to council.
I'm not sure that shouldn't be in camera. Did the library board not think it should be in camera? Councillor Howes, Councillor Kyle, did it come up that it should be in camera?
At this stage, no, and I don't even think it's in camera in our agenda for tomorrow night. But,
All right, well, that's,
but we can, when we go to the library board meeting tomorrow night, we can pass along that recommendation from
well, I
council.
think once you recommend a site, it needs to be in camera.
Right, but we're not there yet.
Well, he asked the question. Are you going to answer it?
Through the chair to Councillor Miller, we have not identified a site yet.
Okay, Allison? No, you're okay? Okay, thank you, and Councillor Pierce.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. So I guess it's on page 204 of the report, under reports. And it says, Kay Bernstein presented output measures for June, July, and August. Despite traffic and parking issues, circulation and in-person visits continue to rise. Good thing. Now, my question here is the next statements here. It says, online traffic statistics continue to fluctuate due to the change in provider metrics. I have no clue what that means. And yet the very next sentence says, online community engagement continues to grow. So I'm double confused there.
Councillor Kyle or Councillor Howes? Councillor Kyle?
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Mayor, through you. I can try and take a stab at that. I know that the library had been struggling with their website, trying to get the analytics from their website. So there had been some weird changes in the visit traffic on the website exclusively with their online selections. But the online community speaks to the social media, which is analytics that are pulled from a different area. So that they, I think, if I remember correctly, our last meeting, the online traffic was much more where they had anticipated it should be, whereas the one previous, it had been really low, and it was just, they were changing how they were pulling the stats, I guess, was my interpretation. I'm hoping I kind of have that right.
Councillor Howes?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I'll, yeah, that supports my memory of it. And just also for clarification, to remind everybody that the minutes that are in this package are from September, not from October. Just a reminder.
Okay, Councillor Pierce?
And thanks, Mr. Mayor, and I appreciate that, the explanation there, but so when it says fluctuate due to changes in provider metrics, that's not provider as in internet provider, that's provider as in whichever program they have pulling their metrics.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So the online community engagement continuing to grow is completely separate than the online statistics continue to fluctuate. Clear as mud. Thank you.
One's social media and the other one's website.
Okay, good. Councillor Kyle?
Yeah, just quickly for further clarification, yeah, the online community engagement refers to social media specifically. The online traffic refers to when someone comes on the website and signs up for a program or rents, or not rents, but borrows a book through the online system. So that's separate from the social media engagement that they're doing.
Okay.
Yeah. You okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Councillor Miller, you also wanted 8.210?
No, that's me.
Oh, that's you. I'm sorry, Councillor Pierce.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Mayor. So 8.2.10 is a letter from the city of Brampton in regards to the provincial decision on automated speed enforcement. I strongly feel that we should send a very, very similar letter to what's in here. If you've read it, it hits all the points in regards to what the ASC program has done, and as Brampton notes here, you know, ASC technology was to improve safety, reduce speeding, and prevent serious collisions and fatalities. It goes on to say in the city of Brampton, ASC program has resulted in significant reductions in speed, increasing speed compliance and community safety in school zones. And it goes through and it hits all the points as to what we've discussed around this horseshoe as to the facts of what we saw it do in its time here in the county of Brant. So I would like to put forth a motion that it may take a little bit of tweaking to change the city of Brantford to the county of Brant and that sort of thing. But I would look for a seconder in regards to sending a very, very similar letter to all of those that are noted in this.
Okay, and Councillor Oakley is your seconder, and Councillor House wants to speak to it.
No, I was offering to be a seconder.
Oh, you were
also.
offering to be a seconder, I'm sorry. Okay, what is the will of council? I certainly don't mind putting a letter together exactly like this. I feel exactly the same way. We've got people in St. George where the camera was that have been taking notes since we've taken them down or not activated them, just using them as statistics, who have come to me and said, you know, it was working, now it's not working.
Yeah.
We've seen it work, now we've seen it not work. They think it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and I think if I could, Mr. Mayor, I think if you read the letter here, it just states facts.
Yep.
And I think that's the key point here, is it's all facts, and I think we should send our own.
Okay, so it's going to be the will of council, and I certainly agree with it, so it's just a matter of Councillor Chambers.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I just wanted to make a comment, and I don't know where I read it, it's in one of the newspapers or online or something, but the report that Adam and staff, in consultation with the reporter, I thought the article was excellent, and I think thanks to Adam for the explanation, and it just goes right along with what Councillor Pierce is saying, so it was a good interview, and it was a good report,
Yeah, I think it was too.
surprisingly enough.
Councillor Bell?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I thought when we had our special meeting on September 29th, one of the actions in that meeting was that the report that Adam produced and an attached letter be sent to the Office of the Premier. So I thought we'd gone through that step already. So are you thinking of something different, Councillor Pierce?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to Councillor Bell, yeah, I would, and I understand that there was a letter sent to, or the thought was a letter sent to suggest our non-agreeance, I'll put it, disappointment. There's a few words there we could put in, but yes, but this letter here, it just elaborates on a few other things as to what the whole program does and what they've seen in other cities. So I'd like to send the same, and hopefully others do as well.
Yeah. Any other comments or conversation before we call the vote? It's on the floor. It has a seconder. All those in, Councillor Oakley?
Yeah, through you, sorry, just sort of on that topic, and to the clerk's department, would we be able to get a copy of these letters when we send them out? Because we've done a few of them, and it's hard to know exactly what goes out, when it goes out, because I don't believe we ever get record of that. So it would help us keep track of these things, I think, if we got these letters after we sent them out.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So from now on, when council directs me to send a letter, we'll put it in your Friday file. Yeah, Councillor Miller?
Yeah, it's a bit of a theme with the province. If they don't like something, they kind of throw the baby out with the bathwater. And I know from what I've read that there has been some abuse of the system, but there is, I do like what Brampton said, that they should sit down with municipal representatives and come up with, you know, what would be a good way to implement it, whether they take it away from weekends or whatnot. But I mean, I did read where, I want to say Push Lynch, but it wasn't Wellington County, but it was one of the lower tiers. They said one of the tickers was that they brought in $6 million in fines over 7 months. I thought that might be one of the reasons why it was gotten rid of. But I think the problems associated can be cleaned up, and I think there's probably a better solution. But like I say, the province does have a habit of, well, you know, Mr. Mayor, if everything, when you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail, right?
my
And that's
God.
how they approach things.
You're right, Councillor Miller. Everything looks like a nail.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's a Harley saying, I understand.
So I think there are ways to improve it, and maybe the province will see the light on that.
That's great. Okay, Councillor Oakley, and then we're going to call the vote.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor, I just would like to agree with all my colleagues, and I think we absolutely should do this. I was both pleased and dismayed this week to see the province is considering, I believe they're calling it Andrews Law, they're looking to crack down on enforcement of drivers that kill people by the course of their actions. I just think it's a shame that they're doing so 2 weeks after removing what was a valuable safety tool. So I think there's a bit of a dichotomy, or there's some things not aligning there in the provincial cabinet on whether or not they actually want to meaningfully deal with traffic safety. So thank you.
Okay, we're going to call the vote now. It's on the floor. It has a seconder. All those in favor? And we'll send the letter, and a copy will be in your Friday file next week. Thank you. Anything else? There was nothing else that was going to be discussed or pulled? No, we're okay. Takes us to number 9.1 on the agenda, which, I'm sorry? Oh, I'm sorry, we need something, we need someone to put it on the floor to approve everything but 4 and 10. All those in favor? It has a seconder and Councillor Oakley. All those in favor? Okay. Committee reports. The first one is the Development Committee report. Councillor Coleman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, second by Councillor Oakley, that the Policy Development Committee report and minutes of November 4th, 2025 be approved, noting there are 4 recommendations.
Are there any questions to Councillor Coleman on his report? No. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Takes us to 9.2 on the agenda, Administration and Operations Committee. Councillor Pierce.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Howes, that the Administration and Operations Committee report minutes for November 18th, 2025 be approved, noting that there are 9 recommendations.
Are there any, Councillor Howes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to ask that we pull decision number 9 that reads that the County of Brant Council direct staff to pursue option number 3, direct appointment to fill the vacant councillor seat in Ward 5, and that the necessary timelines, bylaws, and/or meetings be scheduled and fulfilled as required. And I'd like to discuss this for a few minutes, please.
Okay, and that's number, I'm sorry? Number 9.
Right.
Okay, anything else? Let's vote on everything but number 9 then. All those in favor of everything but number 9? Opposed? Councillor Howes, do you want to speak to number 9 then?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you, and I guess I'll start with a question to the clerk. I just wanted to confirm, because that recommendation was in a committee report, for us to, for lack of a better word, reconsider those discussions, we don't need a reconsideration 2/3 vote of council, correct?
Through your worship, you're correct. Because the confirming bylaw for it hasn't passed yet today, you're able to discuss it again without formally going through a reconsideration.
Okay, then, thank you, Mr. Chair, thank you. If anybody watched the video of that meeting, they would have seen a pretty muddled several minutes where we seemed to attempt to pass different motions and solutions related to option 1, option 2, or actually in reverse order, or option 4, whatever. And it was pretty messy. And it clearly illustrated that left in the hands of ourselves, there are a lot of different opinions on how to approach this, and it gets really messy really fast. And I think with the benefit of some second thoughts since that meeting, I would like to propose that we go back to revisiting and supporting option number 4, which is the option of a bylaw election. By-election, thank you.
Bylaw will come later.
But yeah, a by-election, and if there is a seconder to that motion, I will speak to it.
Yeah, Councillor Oakley.
Thank you.
It's seconded. Go ahead.
And not to beat all this to death again, but I do believe that this is a situation where the residents of Ward 5 need to be the ones who determine who represent them. And I know there's a timeline factor involved. It doesn't happen quickly. And I also know that there's some cost involved. We had discussed this at the last meeting, that some of the costs related to a by-election are covered by the fact that the second Ward 5 counselor is not being paid for several months. So with that said, I would like to see us revisit that option.
Okay. I think since the last Tuesday, everyone's had a lot of time to think about everything. I think things that weren't clear last time are clear now. And do you think we need any more time to learn anything more or to have anything else explained to us? I don't believe the whole meeting was confusing and kerfuffled. I believe that I put forward this motion first, and it was very clear, and it was defeated. And then it got muffled because we ran out of decisions, we ran out of options, and nobody was really happy with anything that was left over. I think that's what happened. And we just ran out of options that suited everyone. And I think it's good that we came back with this, not because I support it, because you know I do, because I did. But I think it's just the fairest thing. It's the most transparent thing for us to do, especially when we've had elections in surrounding municipalities where we spoke out against what we thought was transparent. So for us to do something that's not transparent, I think just doesn't suit us, because I do believe that it's a good move for you to bring it forward, and I hope you get support on it when we call the vote. It's on the floor, it has a seconder. Everyone's clear of what we're voting on? Councillor Chambers?
Just procedurally, Mr. Mayor, do we not have to defeat this recommendation first, and then another motion would come forward?
Okay.
Because this motion technically is on the floor now.
Okay, so let's call the vote to defeat that. Yeah? So we're defeating what's in our package tonight on the agenda. All those in favor?
Well, be careful.
To defeat the original one.
Did you just vote no?
Clerk's gonna call it.
Yeah, through your worship, we are going to currently consider option recommendation number 9 from the report, and if and when it fails, then we then go to option number 4.
Got it? Have you got it? So do we need a separate motion for that? Do we need it put back on the floor? Because Councillor Howes and Oakley are supporting the next thing that's going to come up once this gets defeated. So we need this put on the floor so we can vote to defeat it. Is that right, Councillor Chambers?
It's already on the floor by Pearson, whoever seconded the motion to adopt the report.
To adopt.
So we've pulled this recommendation to be voted on separately.
Yeah. That's right.
That's what we're doing now.
Okay, so that's what we're gonna do now. Councillor Howes.
Just to be clear, because the motion was in the positive towards the original thing, to defeat it, we all vote no. Or whoever wants to defeat it votes no. Just to be clear.
I want that to be real clear before we put our hands in the air. So to support the okay, all those in favor? Opposed? There we go. Okay, it's defeated. Now, Councillor Howes, you have something on the floor. Who was your seconder? Councillor Oakley? So what we're voting on now is to reconsider calling a by-election to fill the position of the ward councillor in Ward 5. Councillor Pierce, and then Councillor Bell.
So, just a question, Mr. Mayor. If in fact this is defeated, where does that put us?
We'll wait until that happens. Yeah, I've already been put in a situation I've never been put into before this tonight, so I don't need 2 in one night, thanks. So let's call this vote. Councillor Bell?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just to help me work through this process, could the clerk remind us of when, if we follow this option, the individual who is elected would be on seat?
Through your worship, through option 4, which is the by-election, we are looking at them being in office in March 2026.
And to be clear, if we chose option 3 as we had before, we could have had somebody on seat in January.
Through your worship, yes.
So my question, and I think it's to all my colleagues, is are we comfortable running till March? And I guess it's the middle of March.
I think the decision would be confirmed end of February when the by-election ends, but it's a matter of which meeting it comes to.
Okay. So are we comfortable as a council running with only 10 men, 10 people, sorry, apologies, 10 people. I watch too much football, that's the problem. If you have a 10-man football team, you're at a disadvantage. So I think we have seen quite a number of 5-5 decisions in the last couple of months. And they would have not been 5-5 had we had a full suite of councillors. So I asked the question to all my colleagues, are we comfortable running until March with only 10 of us around the horseshoe? I am not. So I will not support this. I would support option 3. Oh, sorry, I would support option 2, I think it was, which was to appoint the third place finisher.
Councillor Kyle.
Mr. Mayor, through you, to answer Councillor Bell's question, I am supportive of the by-election, and I realize it takes a little bit more time and there's some more cost associated with it, but I think it's the option that does provide the most transparency, the most clarity, and it allows the residents of the ward to select the person they want in the chair. I think if we think about over the course of the term, there's been many times when there's been one person who's been away for a vacation or whatnot, and we've managed to pass motions and to carry on with county business, even though that person was absent. So I think it's probably just coincidence that we've had a number of things that have been kind of contentious in the last couple of meetings that maybe have made that potential option a little bit more obvious, but it is something that we have dealt with throughout the course of the term, because there's always someone who may be away for vacation, or they're sick, or they're for whatever reason unable to attend a meeting.
Any other comments? Councillor Coleman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I'm supporting the option for the by-election. After seeing and witnessing the cluster of what happened last Tuesday morning, the by-election is much easier. Let the residents of Ward 5 decide.
Councillor Chambers.
Could I ask a couple questions to the clerk with regard to the by-election? Would the people that are considering running, would they have to go through the nomination process where they have to collect the signatures and put the deposit down, and then their name is added to a list of electors?
Through your worship, I believe so. It's just an election on a smaller scale. So they have to go through everything.
And so there is a nomination period, which would end when? In other words, anybody interested has to file by when?
Heather?
In the report, it did specify a date. I don't have it right in front of me, but there was an actual date we would start publishing that's going to happen. It is dictated in the act. It's like a certain number of days from the day the bylaw passes that nomination day is. So everything ties to timelines based from the Municipal Elections Act.
Second question, is there a timeline where the municipality has to have someone in place in the seat?
Yeah, we have to fill the seat anytime before 90 days. If this had happened 90 days before the election, we didn't have to fill the seat, but we have to fill the seat anytime before that 90-day window before the election. So we do have to fill the seat. If this had happened 6 months before the election, then we would not be able to do a by-election. But right now, all the options are open.
And my final question, in the event that no one comes forward and puts their name forward, which can happen, what happens then?
I would have to check, because I know there's provisions in the act if nobody comes forward during a regular election. So I imagine it would be the same rules. I think the first step is they extend nomination period. And I'm not sure what the next step is after that, but I would have to look into that.
And I guess what I'm leading to is the process isn't going to put us in a position where we violate the Municipal Act if no one comes forward in terms of a time frame.
No, because the Municipal Act says that we have to pass this bylaw to do the by-election within, by the end of December. And then following from that, it sets out the timeframes. So the timeframes for that second nomination period would also be written into the act. And then whatever steps to do if you still don't have anybody would also be in accordance with the Municipal Act.
Councillor Oakley?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I'm just going to read out the report just so that everyone has the same dates in mind. So if the bylaw passes this evening, nomination date can be scheduled as early as December 25th to as late as January 24th. Staff recommended in the report that that would be Friday, January 23rd, 2026, so that the election does not interfere with existing budget and council meetings. So that would be the timeline there.
Is that what you were going to say, Madam Clerk?
Through your worship, yes, and I'll also add a bit further in the report also says, as per section 65(4)(2) of the Municipal Election Act, nominations would be accepted as filed between the date the bylaws passed 4 and 2 p.m. on nomination day. So we're looking at January 23rd, and election day is required to happen 45 days after that. So that would be March 9th.
Everyone else is clear? It's on the floor. It has a seconder. All those in favor of a by-election? Opposed? And carried. Good. Councillor Pierce?
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. So obviously we got to put a new bylaw in for later on. That'll have to be reworded now?
Through your worship, the bylaw for the by-election will come in December
It'll come in December.
to confirm.
So, but there's a bylaw in there tonight that we were going to confirm using option 3. Can we not just change that bylaw and approve it tonight?
For your worship, yes. Oh.
Heather?
There is no bylaw on for option 3 because we don't have an actual appointment. So there's no bylaw on the table to be amended.
Oh, okay.
The earliest we could bring a bylaw forward, if with council's permission, we could bring it forward at the planning meeting next week. It'll buy us 2 more weeks in our schedule, but.
I'd move that if that's possible.
Councillor Kyle, you're seconding that? Clerk, do you want to read back what we're voting on now?
Just to bring
I don't want anything to be fuzzy or not clear anymore.
Just to bring the bylaw back next week for the by-election.
All right, that's clear. As a seconder, any questions? All those in favor? Opposed? Okay, that was nice and clear. Opposed, none. Okay. That was kind of a lot. 9.3, Paramedic Services Committee Report, Councillor Miller.
Moved by myself, second by Councillor Pierce, that the Paramedic Services Committee report and minutes of November 19, 2025 be approved, noting that there are 5 recommendations.
Are there any questions to Councillor Miller on his report? Seeing none, I'll call the vote to receive. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Takes us to number 10 on the agenda, which is staff report. Application for the tile loan on McPherson Side Road, 383 McPherson Side Road. Any discussion? Councillor Miller?
Just a question on these tiles, when they are installed, does staff ensure that they have an outlet, whether it's a municipal drain or whatnot?
So through your worship to Councillor Miller, yes. So we have a tile drain inspector under the Drainage Act. It's Braden Robinson in the Roads Department. So the way the process works is they construct the tile drains, we inspect them, or sorry, they approve for the loan, then we inspect the tile drain, and then it gets sent to the ministry. But to answer your question, yes, it is.
Okay,
There are outlets.
okay, just let me clarify. Do they inspect it before the tiles go in? We don't wait till the tiles are in and then we look at it. Do we let them know ahead of time?
I would have to follow up if there was a plan submitted. I would assume yes, but I don't have that for you for certainty.
Okay. It'd be nice to know that, if we could do a Friday file on that.
I can follow up with that, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And it'll be in our Friday file? Yeah? This Friday or next Friday? Just want to be clear.
Let's go with next Friday.
Thank you. Next Friday will be in your Friday file. Thank you. Which takes us to 1111. I'm sorry, we have to vote on the tile. We need a mover and a seconder, Councillor Coleman and Councillor Kyle, to receive the tiles for McPherson Side Road. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. 11.1.1 and 11, I'm sorry? Oh, my paper's mixed up. 10.2 is the paramedic budget. Councillor, that's going to be Cindy Stevenson. Oh, this is where you did it twice. Go ahead, Cindy.
Through your worship, before we get into the report, I just wanted to take the opportunity to introduce our new Director Paramedic Chief, Lindsay Langevay. Lindsay started with the service on November the 3rd, and she comes to the county from Medavie, Elgin, EMS, and St. Thomas, and we're very pleased to have us here with us. As far as the report, I think it's fairly straightforward, so I won't go into anything specific, but happy to answer any questions.
Questions to Cindy on her report. Councillor Miller.
One question, Cindy. When we look at the 2025 budget, the province says they will pay 50%, but they're not at 50%. For 2025, what percentage would they be at?
Through the mayor, so I think you're asking as far as what they're actually funding next year. In our initial reports, and we haven't actually done that calculation since the first meeting, but I think it would be around 42%.
Okay, and we expect that to continue for 2026?
Correct.
Yeah, 42%, okay. Thank you.
Any other questions for Cindy? No? Okay, mover to get on the floor. Councillor Pierce and Councillor Oakley. No other questions? All those in favor? Opposed and carried. Thank you and welcome. I've welcomed you 2 or 3 times now, so you've been here a long time. Communications. Now I see 11.1, 11.2. I will do them both together. Just to receive his information, can I have someone put it on the floor, please? Councillor Oakley. Seconder, Councillor McAlpine, thank you. Any questions just to receive his information? Councillor Miller?
Just, I thought those were really well-written letters. You can read, you can feel the emotion that both of the letter writers put in there. So I think there are some people struggling, and I think those 2 letter writers need to be commended for letting their opinions known.
Okay. Councillor Bell?
Yeah, thank you. In respect to the second letter, we have communicated directly to this individual. He wrote to John Pierce and I. We asked Andrea to develop a response, which she did. Unfortunately, it wasn't accepted as written. So there's a fundamental difference in thinking between some individuals in our community and the reality of what we have to work with in putting in place a water and wastewater system that this community requires and needs.
Anything else? Councillor Oakley?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I think it's also important to highlight, since I think both letters were speaking to water, wastewater fees specifically. I think it's important to notice that those fees are, to my understanding, the cost of the service directly. So, they are what they cost to provide the service fairly directly. So I think that's important to highlight as well. The larger point about the growing cost of the growing affordability crisis and how those things fold into it, I think is a fair point. But I feel that is important to highlight in this, that water wastewater. It costs what it costs. So, thank you.
Any other comments? If not, it's on the floor and has a second. Are all those in favor to receive as information? Opposed, carried. Which takes us to number 12.1, which is a resolution. It's a flag raising request for the Paris Girl Guides. Get a motion to get on the floor, Councillor Howes. And someone else, Councillor Kyle. Councillor Howes, you want to speak to it?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Real quick, since Phil is in the room, I'm wondering if we can arrange the lighting of the dam in blue to coincide with the timing of the flag raising.
Phil, what do you think of that?
Through the chair, I can make that happen, sure.
Thank you. That will happen, Councillor Howes. Is there any other business? I didn't ask in the beginning. Sorry, we have a vote on the Girl Guides. All those in favor? Nobody would say no to the Girl Guides. I would. Councillor Miller, did you have something else for new business?
Just, I was wondering if you could fill us in on what's occurring Thursday morning. I think it's a WowC event, or no?
It is.
And it's here, and will there be provincial ministers attending, or?
I think so. I don't know. I don't have the list in front of me, but I do believe there was a list. Did you not see the?
I've seen the list, but I didn't know that they were coming for here.
I think they're coming here. I don't know. Adam?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Economic Development and Tourism is organized that on behalf of WowC. As far as I understand, it's actually not the ministers, it's representatives from the ministries themselves.
From their office.
Yes,
It's at the Wilkins Center, right?
at the Wilkins Center on Thursday, yes.
Yeah.
But I can confirm that. I know there was a briefing note put out. I simply can't find it right now.
And just, what's the format, if I can ask? Like, are there presentations, or are we just allowed to speak to them, or?
I don't think they said the format. And I don't think it's the ministers either. It's just a representative from their office. But they did have a list. I think there was 4 different offices or.
Yeah.
I don't have it in front of me. No.
We'll know after Thursday.
We'll know after Thursday.
Through your worship, it was outlined in a Friday file. I'll find it and answer the question.
Thank you. Councillor Oakley.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor, just another piece of other business, sort of on the topic of flag raisings. We had one this morning for the International Day of Eliminating Gender-Based Violence Against Women. And since we just talked about the Paris Girl Guides as well, I'm just curious if, to ask staff, if we've considered, I'm not sure our parking lot back there is the best area to be holding those events. We had raining today. There's often loud vehicles that makes it difficult to hear the sort of the conversations from the people who are organizing the flag raisings, things like that. I'm curious if they looked for any other locations sort of in one of our downtown cores to be able to do these sort of events that's more sort of suited. One thing I can think of off the top of my head would be the Cobblestone Commons area, especially now that we have the wider sidewalks. So I'm just curious if that's been a topic of conversation.
We first of all need a flagpole. It took me a lot of years to get a flagpole at the school. Mr. Anderson is here tonight, and it took a long time for me to get a second flagpole at the high school. So if we started now, although we wouldn't be asking the school board for this one. Allison, do you want to speak to that?
Through your worship to Councillor Oakley, it hasn't been a topic of discussion. I mean, we do it here because that's where our flagpoles are, but we can certainly have staff investigate other options.
Thank you.
I wouldn't have even thought about that just because the flagpoles are here, obviously. But now that you say that, it was very awkward today, wasn't it? It was raining, then it wasn't raining, and we had a lot of people, and the traffic is bad right now, and the noise was distracting. So I think that's a really good idea for staff to at least look into that for us. Yeah, that's a good idea. Any other? Allison's going to answer Councillor Miller's question.
Which is what I was going to do too.
So you were going to do?
Yeah.
Okay, Adam, you can do it.
Okay. Through your worship, it's an opportunity for each ministry to present their various funding programs to the small businesses in attendance. There'd be a 15-minute presentation and some question and answer period.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or other business? Councillor Pierce?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, through you. I just want to just quickly touch on this past Friday night. Couple things happened, obviously. Grand River Street North reopened, which was fantastic, and Jingle Bell Night. I don't recall one in the past where there was that many people. It was amazing, the number of people that were out. Everybody seemed happy, everybody was smiling, it was all joyous. Just one thing that I noticed myself, and I had many suggestions on it, for next year, whether it goes to the BIA or whether we as a county do something about it. When it was discussions, when the tree lighting, you could not hear. I was only back probably 20, 25 feet from where you guys were, and you could not hear anything. So I'm thinking next year, like I say, it was a fantastic event, but everybody was, can't hear you, can't hear you, can't hear you. So we need to get a better sound system and get the speakers up, because the speakers were on the ground and you could hear for the first row or two. But again, that didn't take away from a fantastic night, and I think everybody that was there enjoyed it. But if we could do something better, we need a better sound system.
And I think just to your point, Evan was everywhere that night trying to get the speakers up higher. And so we did try. And again, it wasn't our event, but Evans joined in and tried to help. So it was a last minute kerfuffle.
Yep.
So we understand that. Maybe even some sort of a platform just to get people up a little higher, because you couldn't see anything either. You might not be able to have heard us, but we couldn't see you. So that was the other part. So we might have to do some sort of a platform by the tree or something.
But like I say, it was a great night, but you just couldn't hear.
It was a wonderful night. Councillor Kyle?
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Just to add on to Councillor Pierce's comments about the good aspects of Friday night, I happened to be downtown still at exactly 9 o'clock when the OPP drove away and opened up the street, and it was actually kind of fun to be standing there, and people were honking going through, and it was quite exciting for people to be driving through that stretch of the road. So just wanted to say it was a neat experience to be there when it actually opened, and I didn't intend to be there then, but I just happened to be, so.
No, you can't take away from, Friday night was a wonderful night on all levels. People were happy. Staff should be thanked for getting it all done in time. I know it's not all finished yet by a long shot, but it's finished enough for everyone to appreciate how hard everyone worked. And I do thank staff for making sure that was done for us. And people were really happy. It was a really great night. Councillor Oakley.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, just, to also take a minute to wax poetic about downtown Paris. I think my wife was rather embarrassed to be with me Friday because I was running around like a little boy, very excited. But, and this term of council, I think we may have raised our hands a few times in regards to the downtown project, but it was largely a project done by the previous term of council and staff since then. And I just want to commend the previous term of council. I want to commend staff. For me, growing up in this town and seeing what we have in front of us today, I'm not a person who has a good vision for visualizing things and how they're going to look. Seeing it now in person, like I'm overjoyed as someone who's grown up in Paris. So I think, like last term of council, staff, since they've taken it and ran with it, just like a bang up job. So, thank you.
We really did it for you, Lucas. We really did. Any other business, new business? Councillor Chambers?
Yes, and sorry I didn't put this on at the beginning. Mr. Mayor, I received an email from a resident who lives near the little hamlet of Hatchley, which is right in the very bottom corner of the county. And I'm going to forward the email that I got to the clerk to forward to the appropriate people, the managers, et cetera. And I would like it sent to the members of council as well. It was addressed to myself and David. I don't know what the protocol is for blacking out identification, but you can do that. I'm just going to read the first line so you'll know what's coming. It says, "Dear Robert and David, I am writing to share my experience with Brant Transit to bring awareness of some issues and in hopes that you can assist in directing my concerns to the appropriate manager. The email will speak for itself when you get it, and I'll forward that off to the clerk, and you can have a look at that. And there are some issues that perhaps staff can deal with."
Good. Thank you. Anything else? Okay, with that being said, number 14 on the agenda. We're going to go in camera, and Councillor Bell is going to take us there.
Yeah. Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor McAlpine that County of Brant Council convene in camera to discuss S.239(2)(I), a trade secret or scientific, technical, commercial, financial or labour relations information supplied in confidence to the municipality, and S.239(3.1), education or training session (Administration and Operations Committee) in camera minutes of November 18th, 2025, close brackets, and S.239(2)(C), a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land, and S.239(2)(K), a position, plan, procedure, criteria, (RPT 0425-25), close brackets, draft agreement of purchase and sale, portion of 50 High Street.
All those in favor of going in camera? Opposed? And we're going to go in camera. Okay, we're back. We're back in open session, which takes us to number 15 on the agenda, which is the bylaws, and Councillor Kyle has those.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Chambers that bylaws number 116-25 to 119-25 be read a first time.
All those in favor of the first reading of the bylaws? Opposed? Carried. If you want to do it for the second time, please, Councillor Kyle.
Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Chambers that bylaws number 116-25 to 119-25 be read a second time and all preambles and clauses be adopted.
Thank you. Are there any questions to the second reading of the bylaws? Seeing none, all those in favor of the second reading? And if you could do it one more time, please, Councillor Kyle.
Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Chambers that bylaws number 116-25 to 119-25 be read a third time, passed, signed, and executed.
All those in favor of the third reading of the bylaws, please. Opposed? Carried. Council updates. It's something new on the agenda, which is a period of time where councillors can tell us what's happening in their ward, anything that we need to know, anything we need to celebrate, or anything we need to fix. Councillors, Councillor Bell.
Yeah, just a couple of notes on the health unit, the Grand Erie Public Health Unit. The city representatives have changed. It was Councillor McCreary and Councillor Sicoli. It's now going to be Mayor Davis and Councillor Sicoli. And just recently you may have seen in the news that Mayor Bentley has resigned from the health unit as the Haldimand representative. We do not know who will replace her yet. Just a final comment, I was invited to join the board of ALPHA, which is the Association of Local Public Health Agencies, all the way through till next June, when they have to re-elect people. So I said I would take that on.
Good for you. Good for you. And Mayor Martin is still the chair?
Mayor Martin is still the chair. We have elections in December, I think, for the following year.
Right. Good. Good. Any other news from any other wards that want to be shared with the County of Brant? No. Councillor Chambers?
Just that I think we all got invitations to the, on Friday, December the 5th, I think it is, the Christmas tree light up in downtown Burford from 5 to 8. I think there's a conflict with another event, but I will be at the Masonic Hall giving out hot chocolate. If you're there, come and say hello.
Okay. I'll be at the tree lighting, and I'll come for hot chocolate. Anything else going on, Councillor McAlpine?
Likewise, we have our tree lighting in St. George on the Thursday night, so there is no conflict. So if anybody would like to come, you're welcome.
Do you have hot chocolate?
You have hot chocolate, yeah.
Yeah. And Dutch cookies in St. George. Many, many Dutch cookies in St. George. Anything else? I think, again, we just have to mention how wonderful it was in Paris to see the Main Street opened and so many kids having such a good time. They had 2 choirs and we had a dance troupe on the Main Street. We had Clydesdales carrying carriages downtown with kids having rides, and it couldn't have been better if we tried. The weather was wonderful and it was really, really well received. So again, thank you to staff for making that happen for us. If there's nothing else for the betterment of the County of Brant, we'll let you know that the next meeting will be December the 2nd at 6 o'clock. And looking for a motion to adjourn. Councillor House, we stay